Welcome back, ladies and gents. You are joining us for the ECS Grand Finals, and we're about to kick off Map 2 between G2 and Luminosity. And if it's anything like Map 1, you definitely don't want to miss it, because Map 1 was just so incredible. How back and forth it was, how evenly matched these two teams were, and with G2 showing how good they can play Overpass, maybe they are ready for the final boss of Overpass, that is Luminosity.
Yeah, and despite the previous results that you saw mentioned on the desk, I think this is a really strong map for Luminosity, especially the way Fallen and Fur play together, or Fallen and FNX as well. They basically, when Luminosity are on the CT side, the support they give for the AWP is super strong, especially in the more advanced positions around the toilets area, so we'll have to look out for that. But first will come the knife round, so we will see who ends up on the CT side. And if Luminosity end up on the T side, then I think that's going to be very interesting indeed.
Yeah, I just want to see that T side of G2, you know, the one that we saw giving so many problems to NIP previously. That was amazing to watch. Now it's all kicking off by the fountain, James, my favorite part of the map.
Oh, let's not get started on that then.
Lovely water feature.
We don't commentate knife rounds.
Not much to commentate.
We really admire the knives. Well, that is an important kill though.
It is, yeah, it's important.
Especially having lost Dust 2, they get the choice of their sides. Gonna have a bit of a team talk, gonna boost that morale.
Where do you think that they want to start? Because we know that G2 are pretty happy if they get T side.
CT side. Luminosity definitely want to start on the CT side. They're just really strong on there, and that's where they're going to rack up the rounds here versus G2, should they prove successful.
Well, then it's going to be very, very interesting to see, considering, was it 13-2 or 14-1 that G2 were able to get on that T side? It was something of that level.
Yeah, not going to be easy once the AKs come out. Not going to be easy at all, but
London makes the great crowds, James.
Indeed it does, especially when they're not drunk out of their minds.
There's still time. All right, so what is the most exciting part of the CT side of Luminosity? Is it that AWP setup that Fallen goes through with the support, as you're saying? Is that the key thing for you?
It's the AWP and the support that they have for the AWP. The way, like, they could play the closer connector, for example, with Fallen looking over towards the kind of party area, and to have FNX or Fur looking to connector. Can even cover two angles at the same time. There's lots of interesting things they can do, lots of small setups. And if they get successful with those, then G2 will have to keep guessing as to which one they are playing. So we shall have to see where it goes.
That was a very timid wave there. Needs to work on that one. So G2, we didn't really get to see much of their CT side because they were so crushing on their T side, so it's hard actually to know exactly what to expect from them. I know that Scream, typically he was a guy that was really, really strong on that A-bomb side, playing around the toilets, so that's one of the things I'm looking forward to, but we're about to start it all. The pistol round is soon to begin.
All right, so here we go. G2 going to be forcing the issue. All Kevlar here, which suggests they just want to find the headshots. Do G2. Fallen with a smoke and defuse. We've seen some ninjas in this tournament. Maybe we will see one again. Are they going to go for a long play? Obviously, they're going to be at a range disadvantage, but a numbers advantage. Down goes Smith. FNX, how many more can he get? Running out of bullets there, and Body will take him down. Fallen with more range, but he's going to get headshot and forced to retreat. Going to drop that smoke there, so no ninja coming in on this round.
So a lot of options here for G2. They can do you know, so many things with so much time left in the round, and already they've kind of forced Luminosity back, because Luminosity are a little bit scared to try to play close at this point. They know that G2 could be basically looming anywhere in close vicinity, and you want to avoid those close engagements if you are the CTs holding onto those weapons that are better at the range, those USPs. And this is a really nice setup here with Taco. He's boosted up over the little wall, and of course, you know, he can use his USP very well there. And if the spots players gets a shot, maybe gets a kill, can back away and let the rotation come in for a strong 4-man retake. So cool setup indeed. And Luminosity, they're actually searching for info towards the A side of the map. They are starting to push towards long right now, and with 45 seconds left and seeing nothing there, they might start to wonder, is it going to be B?
Time's running out for G2. to get the bomb down. Looking to play the clock slow, maybe looking for Luminosity to gamble on one of the sites, and perhaps that gamble is coming in because we have a humongous flank coming in from Luminosity, but Shox is wondering, is nobody over towards A? The bomb still in a position to rotate, but it seems they're going to commit to the B bomb site just as the rotation is coming in back towards A for Luminosity. 15 seconds left. G2 have been very patient and it's paying off. Luminosity out of position now.
RPK's ready by Jungle, 2 quick kills, headshots as RPK lays waste to Luminosity, retaking players, and that is a problem for Fer. He's 1 versus 4. And here at this first engagement already causing a lot of trouble, but he's able to pick it up. But he has no kid on him. It's a long way to run as well. That's a lot of time that's going to be burnt. So really, he's realistically unlikely to win the round, but what he can do is pick up some money. He gets some frags, the money's going to help, but he won't. He gets denied, and that patience, it's rare that you see a pistol round going where the bomb plants at the very last 10 seconds. That's really nice from G2.
That is a really huge start for G2 on his pistol. If they can get 6-7+ rounds on his T side, then Luminosity may start to get a bit worried. But we've seen the trades after the pistol, and Luminosity are not going to rest with their money. They're coming in for the buy. Fallen's keeping money for the big green gun later on. Other than that, we have Kevlar, helmets, pistols on 4 of these 5 players. Fallen picking up a kit, which is I really like to see on watching Eco for him at the very least. So early map advantage being taken over towards the fountain position. But Taco with the 5-7 here, taking shots down early. Is there a weapon point to pick up? Indeed, he's got a Mac 10.
There you go, into the back of Fallen. He's going to feel the presence and fall back and away. Cold, though, has got a deagle, and his position is quite good, but he's not quite landing anything just yet, and they are getting closer and closer as all the time goes on. But G2 not really looking to commit just yet, and there's a flank coming in as well, so they've got a lot of trouble on their hands. They're kind of actually pinned down in this position. And there's a lot of decisions they have to make at this point. Sure, they have a minute left, but Luminosity know exactly where the entire team is, so they're building a perimeter around it, but not being too tight because they don't have the weapon advantage.
Indeed, 2 of these 3 exit points for this long area are very small choke points. G2 have chosen the large one, but indeed, we've got Fer coming in from the back. Luminosity are all over the place. How are G2 going to survive in this situation? Fer can pepper them while they're looking elsewhere and just run around and have some fun. Indeed, it seems G2 maybe going back towards the long position. There'll be initial range, but again, that choke point will start to get smaller as they close in on the site. And with that clock ticking, there may be desperation to get the bomb down. In the bedlam that ensues, there may be problems. First got a smoke, Fallen's got a kit. Fallen goes down though. Now we'll see if G2 can have a successful round. That scout is putting in great work. 2 plays left here, and again, one of them is very far away indeed. FNX has been spotted, and he may get himself smoked off. Got a 5-7 though. Needs to get himself 1 versus 1, but he can run distraction because that flank is coming in. Fer not even going down to position yet. Smith's 180 won't come in fast enough. Scream is going to get taken down as well. And now there are problems here for G2. RPK is the only man with health at the moment. That clock's ticking, and there is a defuse kit on the site. But FNX with 12 HP may be giving up this one.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage though. 3 kills. It's going to be problematic for G2 because they really wanted to build money. This is kind of reminiscent of Dust 2. And okay, sure, the force ball buy wasn't won, but there are a lot of chances where Luminosity could have won it. It was so crazy how they'd actually pinned G2 all together in that A-long area. And there were a lot of decisions that G2 could have made there, either to break away, to go back in towards B, or try to force their way through. So it wasn't an easy situation to play from, even though they had the weapon advantage. But very decisive was Smith with his entry frags, and that is exactly what made the difference. And G2 now, with that 2-round lead, they're going to be loving this round because they're going to be up against much worse weaponry. Probably no Kevlars apart from FNX, who saved his. And they've got 3 Mac 10s.
Fallen's got 3k in the bank, which means the orb should be coming out in the very next round for Luminosity. And based on their failed force buy, that means we should see some aggression because they won't have the utility to slow down G2 in the following round. So let's look out for that in the coming round, should G2 be successful here. That 5-7 continues on to FNX. And it's the only threat really in this round at the moment, apart from position, but Smith's coming in for the flank. Fer doing work, but again, the clear out is real here. 2 USPs left here for LG. We should be into round 4 soon.
Yep. Cold and Taco trying to get some damage in there. It's a frag. Cold finishing off the weak body with a headshot from the USP, and all the frags that they get here, that really pays off because, again, in some of the past matches we've seen from G2, they've been quite good actually at not losing players on rounds like this, and it really gives you a massive advantage, making Luminosity's life harder further down the line. But Cold looks like he's been discovered. He still actually gets a dink there onto screen. That's a bit scary, but it's all it all should be okay now. It's just one man. How much trouble can one man cause?
Well, if he headshot Smith, Smith is gone. If he headshot Scream, Scream is gone. There are 2 weapons to pick up as well, so there's actually a lot for Taco to do here, and he's got nothing to lose. He's got absolutely nothing to lose here, so we'll see if he can retrieve a weapon and make his way over towards the bomb site. And Mac-10 is perfect in this situation. Moving accuracy, even jumping it has reasonable accuracy. So there are some shenanigans yet to be had here. Again, we've got big... One thing G2 have always had with their plants is somebody really far back to try and flank anybody who's coming in from the rear. This time it's going to be Scream, which means that Taco, if he's fast enough, he could even pick up an AK here. We'll see if he can do it. Not going to be ready for the angle Scream is holding, and there'll be no more damage to the G2 economy. So here comes the big buy round for Luminosity. Fallen going straight for the big green gun, but he's $50 shy of Kevlar, so he's going to be completely naked in this round.
That's so sad, isn't it? Just a mere $50 short of the Kevlar. Sad times, but I don't think it's going to affect Fallen all that much. He can still be very aggressive, and you know, we've seen all those plays that he makes towards the party position, which is very, very, that's classic Fallen stuff. How he's able to get right in there, make those flick shots over the smoke, and kill players. You know, moving towards the water fountain and so on, and towards the party area in general. And that gives them a lot of information. And as you can see, we have a bit of a technical pause here at the moment. Looks like Scream is having an issue.
Probably wanted to change the color of his HUD then.
Yeah.
Well, again, important frags coming in here from Smiths. Luminosity just waiting for the Bedlam to begin on the site there, but it never happened for them. Never happened for them. So 4 rifles and an AWP here on the Luminosity side, and indeed you'll see shortly that they are lacking in grenades here. I'm expecting aggression. I'm expecting Fallen to be playing around that toilet area, close to connector. We will see if it reigns true. The unpause has come in, and the match will be live soon. So let's see what kind of setup Luminosity will start with here on a fragile buy.
Yeah, and Fallen can be anywhere. He can just be absolutely anywhere. And this is the thing as well, that I really feel like G2 have definitely done some of their research. Maybe not on all teams. I think we heard in an interview from Scream that they didn't necessarily watch demos from all teams. They focus more on their own game, but they do have a lot of familiarity with some of these teams. And Fallen's way that he plays the AWP is quite well known, but it's going to be a fast round into B. There's no time to think. Cold has to pull out his M4, but he can't do it in time, and it is a complete catastrophe on the B bomb site. G2 have full control.
Yeah, Luminosity are rotating, but maybe this is a situation where they need to save straight away, to be honest, because they're in a really bad spot. Their economy is not good to start with, and it's going to get worse. Oh, they're going for the boost up through the smoke as well. That is super smart play by G2. That's going to be a massive problem for Luminosity. Bomb not down just yet. The Brazilians biding their time, trying to contain G2 at the moment, but I can't see them committing to this retake here. Barely any damage done, and that is a perfect response. G2 know how dangerous Luminosity can be, especially with Fallen on the AWP here, and there it goes. 2 plays taken down really quickly. Everything lost here, almost, for Luminosity.
Yeah, and yeah, that's a really big deal. Not being able to save 3 guns. And now the best case is just saving 1, and the FNX might actually die here. They are moving quickly towards this position. Shox is going to be the first man, and Body is going to come from the other side, so they might end up sandwiching him if he is unlucky. FNX trying to survive. This weapon would be really useful in the following rounds. And it looks like he might just barely be saved. Oh no! He's not going to be able to keep his weapon alive, and that is really sad because he could have definitely done some damage in this round with it. And right now, that's the problem, is that G2 are winning rounds too clean. Their economy is untarnished. That is really amazing for the French side.
Yeah, that has massive implications for Luminosity when they finally get back on the buy in the next round. Even if they win the round, look at all that monetary pressure that comes through from G2. Let's see what they choose to do. This should be a non-round here for Luminosity. Take some initial aggression towards the bomb site. There are a lot of dangerous pistols here, but only pistols for the CT side. Cold Zero out there on his own, looking for the pot shots, running out of bullets, not getting any frags. So, again, this would be a fine round for G2. Smith's only AWP taken from Fallen in the previous round.
Yeah, great anti-eco. We have a two-man flank coming in though, but Shox, he's ready for it. They're prepared, they understand exactly the options for Luminosity. Shox is ready to deal with it.
I think he has a shadow advantage there as well. So if Fallen tries to creep, his shadow should give his position away. So he has even less advantages than he might think. Shox though, willing to have a look at the angle, trying to get his bell rung now. He's in danger of losing his AK, going for the pre-fire, perfect. Sees the shadow of the second player, but can't get the kill. But that important flashbang coming in to stop that AK from being stolen. G2 will protect that gun, and Fair will try to do what damage he can, but it's circumstantial in this situation.
Yeah, good work done there by last player of Luminosity to get an extra frag on the board. And otherwise, again, in that G2, they're just so clean here. And then we get a spot of just Scream, bit of bunnying down the run boost. It's very nice. Now 5-0, it's really starting to rack up here. This is a great T-side start for G2. They've set themselves up very nicely. Every player, apart from one, has 10k or more in the bank. Fallen though, he's back on the AWP. He's got a lot of nades and support to go with him. But where will he decide to go? It looks like Cole might be in for some trouble again, but he is covered there to get into position into that very nasty off angle.
Again, short B is key for both these sides to take control of, and G2 look to be using it quickly. They need somebody to cover connector just in case somebody's in there for the CTs, and they try to force some aggression, but they're going to go for another fast play here, and it seems the plan is to just avoid Fallen altogether. They've had great success in previous matches this week on the B bomb site, and it continues here. 3 versus 3 now, with the CT smoked out of the site once again. Cold Zero is in a strong position though. He can do something about this. Cold Zero is going to be the key man here for the CTs.
Has to wait and allow his teammates to get in position, maybe cause distractions so he can creep up unbeknownst to the T's. And there you go, he finds the timing, but it's not gonna work out. Shox has that second sense for it, and now FNX is against 2 players, and this is gonna be tough, but good damage done there, and it's just not impossible for FNX. He's going to take the first man down. Just one more, but will the time allow him to do this as he looks for Shox? Shox is playing this perfectly, forcing a really wide peek from FNX. FNX has no idea where Shox is. He doesn't feel comfortable to go for the defuse attempt, and instead he'll just try to save the AWP, but he can't even do that. Shox is going to deny him. And G2, 6-0.
With the Molotov down, he might have had a good chance to go for the hero play there, but maybe knowing that both players see the Molotov, he thought he would come push because maybe they both realized that situation. So the gamble doesn't pay off here for Luminosity. They are losing far too many rounds on their CT side, 0-6. That is really, really bad.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
And you can see they realize that. They know they can't afford to lose any more rounds, which is why they've gone for the fourth buy here. The scout being picked up, and there we go. Fallen off to a good start, but they don't have any rounds yet. So there was a failed Molotov over towards the short B position, but it doesn't matter. RPK taking plays down towards connector.
Yeah, definitely RPK making up for that failed Molotov from Shox. The Molotov was to allow them to take sewers, or for him to make a solo take of sewers. But RPK is going to be in there with the AK. And Shox, he still wants frags, and he will be delivering them. Cold Zero's dead, and now it's 2 left for Luminosity, and damage is definitely going to pay off for them if they're able to get it with their buy. It's going to be tough, though, as G2 are playing quite well on the trade fragging game. And here goes Fallen with that scout, about to find 2 players. The flick comes in, it lands on nothing but air as Body takes him down, and there's just Taco left now. Let's see if he can get something. Maybe there's a stray gun to be picked up, or maybe something to give him some better chances to get at least a kill.
There is far too much money on the T side, let alone the score, which moves to 7. Nothing but pressure coming the way of Luminosity, back on the buy once again. And Fallen hasn't had an opportunity to really do anything whatsoever. G2 have just been constantly exploiting the B bomb site. They know Fallen is playing upper, they know he's over towards A, they know the hold is strong there with the support he has, and they are just sidelining that entirely.
They did that thing they did with Fnatic.
Dan, I've got to cut you off because Fallen, maybe realizing this, is moving to the B bomb site now.
Yeah, he's going to play dynamic. We can come back to the other point later on. As we observe G2 taking over Connector. And there's only one man there, which is for the Luminosity side. Fallen getting the shots in towards Monster, revealing that there is an AWP in that position. But there is also a second AWP, and it is on Cold. Cold is playing from short, so they've got AWPs all over the place. Fallen now rotating away from B after showing his presence there, and then returning to the usual spot he's going to play from long there. And it's going to be G2 now that have to do something, because Luminosity have given them a lot of the map. They don't realize it just yet, but it is theirs for the taking.
Interestingly, because they know that Fallen and Orpa is over towards the bomb site now, they know something has changed, and Luminosity are not playing their standard setup, so they may be careful and take extra time to try and figure out what is going on here for the CT side. Nobody in long for the Ts. You can see they're starting to move back now to Old Faithful, if you will. See if they choose to go there. 50 seconds on the clock. They don't have significant map control at the moment, G2. Connector, moving into Connector will help. Taco getting a fast 2 frags there. That's going to speed up the play here. Cold Zero spots the rest of the team, and that's going to be a rotation here for the CTs. 35 seconds left, and the frags continue to roll in for Luminosity. Are they finally going to get around on the board? Smiths, it might be about damage for him now. Just missing a shot there. Getting flashbanged as well. 25 seconds. Needs to collect the bomb. There's still work for him to do. The rotation being cut off by Fallen. Fallen can't afford to go down here. Going to get legged, in fact, down to 5 HP. Smith with some shenanigans, but it won't pay off. The first round finally on the board for the CTs.
That frag actually would have been massive, because there's no way they would have been able to collect that AWP, I don't think, because the other two CTs were so far away. Had Smiths actually killed Fallen there, they would have had only one AWP into the next round, because their money really sucks still. So good damage done there in the end, either way, from G2. It will keep Luminosity's money down. And talking about money, G2, they still got a couple players, well, 3 or 4 players that are very wealthy. So it's going to take quite some effort here for Luminosity. They cannot get reset, and Fallen is going to move aggressively into Connector. He will not find anyone just yet, though. G2 are instead pushing their efforts here towards the party area, and that is problematic because Fallen now cannot escape back up the stairs towards A if G2 are to secure their positioning there. And he looks like Fallen is going to try to move there.
His teammate has an angle on short B, but by no means is it secure. And you can see Fallen taking risks now. Normally he has support from Rifler there, but he's just out here on his own, smoked off from his normal position. He'll have to use this time knowing that Connector is relatively safe for a short while. But you can see, look at this, G2 meticulous. They're forcing Fallen away from all his usual positions. They're not serving themselves up, not giving him anything to shoot right now. And that is very, very key in a round where Luminosity only have 1 round on the board. They're being forced all the way back. They're being denied information. RPK charging into the B-bomb site now. He may pull a rotation. Look at the layout of the rest of the team here for the T's. They're all over towards A.
Yeah, trying to get the entry frags. This is what they could rely upon against Fnatic. But Luminosity playing really nice off angles, and they will deny G2 those initial entry frags. Now Shox has to make a massive play. Somebody's got to do something incredible at this point, because there's no time. They're down 2 players. The next play has got to be the one that secures the round. Otherwise, they are done in this one. And Luminosity will string 2 together. They must at least get some damage in. Here they go. Body is going to be the first man. And look at all these grenades here. Luminosity will throw all the last grenades, but it might just be enough, because there's so much delay here for G2's push. Body's going to drop Cold Zero down the stairs as he looks for more, but it's just on Shox now to get the damage in against 4 players, and he will not get another opportunity. It is going to be Luminosity surviving with 4, and that is very key.
A massive round for the CT side, a very important round. That's going to waste a lot of money here on the G2 side, so their fortune is soon disappearing. Fer wasn't able to upgrade his FAMAS, but FNS has picked up an AK. I think there's an AWP on the floor for Cold Zero to collect. Indeed there is. It's going to be thrown over to him. So both teams back on the buy once more. Luminosity can still finish this half with a lead. It's possible. It is possible. Let's see where this momentum can take them. G2 going for a fast play towards upper now. Fallen going for the sneaky angle. Often you'll find him put a smoke below him, but he doesn't want to be expected here, and it pays off. Smiths gets taken down.
The classic play there from Fallen, getting that first frag with the AWP and giving the opposition problems. And how they step up to these problems is going to be interesting. G2 have been, against Fnatic, mostly they were able to rely on pretty much everyone, just their ability to walk into bomb sites and just win that opening 1 versus 1. And if you're down to 4 players already, that then becomes way more risky, because if you go down to 3 without a response, you're probably not going to win the round at that point. So Fallen, he can do yet more work here with this AWP. This is the first shot though, and the T's will get closer to his position, and each peek that he'll do will be more and more unsafe. So he's just going to hold on right now as Luminosity have really fast rotation positions as well. They can get to A very quickly, and here comes the play.
Looking for the engagements now, RG2, and indeed the rotations coming in first, flying straight into the crosshair off screen. Fallen response, but he gets taken down in isolation now. Luminosity were so deep in both sides, they didn't know if the push was coming into A or not, and that's going to lead them out of position here. Stuck behind the back, and they are all falling one by one. Of dominoes will go down. Taco and coldzera may have to gamble and push the smoke, and indeed that bomb's going to be denied. 20 seconds on the clock now. G2's hand will be forced. Shox looking for an opening, going to be creeping silently with the scoped in sniper rifle. Taco's going to be very careful, but his teammate could possibly trade for him now. And again, Shox not revealing his position. When you move with the AWPs now, when you're scoped in, it doesn't reveal the sound. 5 seconds left, he needs to find 2 frags. We've got the CTs running away. Shox trying to get that last frag, but he won't get the angle in time. Another round on the board for Luminosity, but it's a very expensive round for both teams. The money will run low.
Absolutely, it's very expensive. That's a good way to put it. Luminosity, they need to keep winning rounds, of course, and they need to start winning them with a little bit more in the way of players surviving. G2 always inflicting all the damage, but finally though, G2 are starting to run out of money. If G2 lose this round, they are going to actually might not even need to save, because if they get a bomb down, they would have lost 4 in a row, and with the round loss bonus and the bomb down, they're going to have enough to force out a buy. So the buys will not stop here. See if Fallen can get something, but that position so strong. We've seen that work for G2 earlier in the tournament. And now it's going to be G2 who get the first man down on the opposition with the advantage early into the rounds.
What is the response going to be from Luminosity here? The talisman for the team taken down, the head chopped off. Importantly, you can see coldzera here. He's got strong control of the short B position for the moment, but he's on his own, which is a vulnerable position with the AWP as well. Unlikely to get 2 frags if the T's push that position looking for trades. So he's going to be forced back again. G2 being very patient here, playing the clock, waiting for Luminosity to overextend, trying to get themselves even more advantages here. 3 players moving towards long again. G2 moving in the numbers, putting themselves in strong situations to trade if they come up against 1 CT, and that's reasonably likely over towards long. Again, passive positions being held by Luminosity. They're not going to have much information. When G2 decide on the site, they're going to be on top of the CTs. They're going to have minimal time to respond. Realizing that maybe. They're going to go for a push here, which may turn into a bit of a flank. First frag coming the way of the Expert coming in as well. Double pick for the CTs now, body to trade, but it's a man advantage here for Luminosity. They've got very nice angles as well. So a bomb plant's going to be hard. There's 20 seconds left, and there are CTs on both sides of the site. coldzera's position is going to be very important, and now he's the last man standing. All of a sudden, can't get the lethal frag here. 10 seconds though. Can he stop the bomb from going down? No. With a norm, he's going to be unlikely to trade. Smith's coming in from the side. Luminosity had such advantage, but it very quickly disappeared.
Yeah, that's Body and Smiths in the 2 versus whatever the hell that was. That is like the 2 versus the world. That was amazing from those 2 players, and we've actually seen them both in that position before in Dust 2, and they are able to deliver. That's crazy. You know, we've seen Shox and Scream do that time and time again, but that was... I mean, the amount of players are all over the place. You can see how difficult it is to even select a target. So 8-3, the score is G2. Well, it's never eco seemingly. Luminosity themselves are in a lot of trouble in that sense. They're going to have 3 HEs in this round, and they'll be playing dodgeball with those to see if they can. Let's see if they can land anything here. Body flashed in, looking for those initial entry frags, and so far he's not going to be able to get anything done just yet. But information is gathered as G2 start to work out exactly where Luminosity's effort will be in this round. And so far it's a spread all over the place, so they might feel confident that it's not a stack, but there's so much time that Luminosity have so much ability to kind of to stack at this point that the information is not really any longer very good for G2.
You see Shox lurking towards the B-bomb site, and Luminosity don't really have much to go on at the moment. It's going to be a gamble for them as to which site they choose to stack. They still have 2 HEs in play. coldzera goes for 1 more peek, and it'll be 1 too many here. Even less information now for G2, and that means they no longer have control of short B, which makes things even worse for them. And there are many things which are really bad for the Brazilians right now. The score, the map control, the guns, the money, everything is somewhat disastrous here for Luminosity. Shock's going to be crouching to avoid being spotted by any potential CTs on this site. Towards barrels, we have a look over there. No, doesn't expect FNX to come in. So a weapon picks up. That might speed up things here for G2. 30 seconds left. Moving over towards A now. First caught in isolation, just about getting taken down there by Body.
Yeah, they've got all the info, and they probably won't be worrying too much that they've given an AK away. And there's another frag, so things looking really good here for G2, and their money actually does kind of suck here, so there's a lot to be done by Taco. Getting in some fragging here, 13 HP, but no Kevlar, and really shouldn't be too much more that Taco can do here, but he's going to look for some extra shots, of which they will not connect. But a little bit of damage there. We'll have to see how impactful that's going to be, but right now G2, are they going to break double digits? It looks quite likely at this rate.
Luminosity perhaps have come back from worse. We'll see if they get their money's in dire straits, as you can see. Very difficult for Luminosity at the moment. G2 just counterplaying them, and it's really hard. Luminosity seem to be forced to change things up on the fly and take risks, because again, G2, the way they forced Fallen back from multiple positions with grenades without showing anybody is astonishing stuff. If that continues, then Luminosity may not know what to do in these final rounds. Round 13 coming up, the buy comes out. No AWP, but a scout here for Fallen.
Yeah, he's been great with the scout though, so definitely expecting a lot from him. And I also can't wait to see how coldzera is going to use that AK, to see how impactful that save of it was. Now we're going to have G2 in a position where they actually show many times before that they're very willing to play very slow rounds on Overpass, because they want to make sure be absolutely positive that they don't get caught by the A-long aggression, which is so common in the metagame. A lot of teams go to that, and something that GT's been really good at this tournament is never getting caught by it.
Now you see the support structure, FNX playing close to Fallen. Molotov's coming in over towards long to force these CTs from any good positions they might want to take up. Again, look at that. Look at how one player opens the door while Shox holds an angle on the boost. G2 have rarely looked so coordinated. Again, just checking all the corners. They've got a few Molotovs in play as well. FNX with one duel, not going to be able to take down the first player, let alone the second. Early disadvantage for the Brazilian side. Things go from bad to worse. Shox down to 1 HP, but that's 1 HP too many. Still a very dangerous player indeed. Fallen though, coming in, as is Fur, and there we go. Shox getting a kill. Shox and Scream, two very fast kills. Man advantage here for the CT. Taco getting smoked out of his position. He's going to force the issue here. Doesn't see Shox hiding. Again, Shox with 1 HP, still a lethal problem for the Brazilians.
And actually falling back there just for a moment, Taco. Now G2 taking their time, but they don't have too much time left. There's 25 seconds to go, and Taco repositions towards bank, but there's smokes everywhere. There's a bit of a gap here. It might be a full sense of security, but no, they will spot him. It's Scream, of course, with the frag. Now just down to coldzera against 3 as he makes his way up the stairs, but the smokes are blocking him in all of these choke points, making life very, very difficult indeed. But he does have some time, and he has a kid as well, so he can be methodical. And here he goes. So many players to deal with amazing positions. He's got to be lightning quick. First frag comes in for Cold against Scream, but too much time is being wasted right now by G2 playing very defensively, playing it exactly as they should. And G2 are going to make it to 10 rounds.
Are we going to see another 12-3 on the T side of Overpass?
Against Luminosity, James.
Indeed. The counter strats are real. 2 rounds left. The money sucks for Luminosity. Around 2,500 on average, and they're going for the buy. Again, 3 rounds. They cannot eco in this situation. The scout comes out once again. The M4 still in play. The pistols as well. I hope you can hear that at home. I love the UK. That's awesome. 2 rounds left here for the Brazilians. And not much to fight with. Pots and pans coming out for the Luminosity side.
All right, well, let's see what Pots and Pans have to offer against AK-47s. Fallen's looking for that first shot with the scout, but no one is going to avail themselves to him just yet. And it's just as I spoke about in the last round, G2 love to play this beginning bit very slowly, but finally Smith is going to go in for the peak. Will he find Fallen on the angle? That is the question. Will Fallen go for the peak? He's got high mobility with that scout, so he can try to shoulder angles very effectively, but it's going to be Shox who catches the flank from Cole. This is brilliant stuff from Shox. He's opened up the B-bomb site completely by himself, and disaster strikes for the Brazilians now. Shox will finally go down, but G2 have now a significant advantage with a minute remaining to make the call.
You have to start wondering when the "is Shox the best player in the world" discussion will begin. For doing what little he can. There are 2 rifles now on these 3 players. It's a 3 versus 3, so there's still potential. Oh, that's a very unfortunate miss for Smith. Manages to escape, but oh, that is disgusting. Advantages here for G2, but not the clock necessarily. Fallen looking to maim these players, and you see FNX is in position to stop any sneaky plants. This is a distraction game being run by Fallen. Smokes down on the site, but there's a flank coming in. FNX, is he going to realize that he could get taken down before he can do anything about this for his team? Dancing around the smoke, and indeed he's going to let Smiths pass. The bomb is about to get planted. FNX biding his time, but maybe their advantage has been lost.
FNX waiting for the perfect moment, and he's going to play this patiently. There it is, there's the first frag from FNX. He'll get the second as well. And now Fallen can go in, but it's down to Scream. He gets the first kill, but here comes FNX! All 4 kills to FNX and the defuse. That's exactly what Luminosity needed.
A desperate round on the boards for Luminosity, and still 1 player surviving. Their buy is going to be Poverty in the coming round. G2 should have a superior buy coming up. Information game played by FNX wins the important jewels for his team as well. A desperate 4th round indeed. Can they get the 5th? 2 FAMASs coming out, double AWPs managed by Luminosity in fact. So this is quite a reasonable buy after all. Mag 7 on Sacco. Going to be looking for those close quarters. Got a reasonable amount of grenades to boot. This would be a good counter. A fast play into the bomb site when there are 2 AWPs. Taco needs to get close, and now things get interesting around the smoke, but it's a triple P coming in for G2. Fallen playing around a short position. Crossfire with Cold as well. Not going to work out. Instant headshot coming in. They're all falling down. 11-4 looks likely. FNX alone with a FAMAS versus 5 angry G2 players.
And what is happening right now, Luminosity, they're getting run over. And FNX, it is, of course, the last round, indeed. So he's got to go for it, and there is at least 1 frag. FNX going to try to work on things as he can, but what is this? There's another frag coming in. Suddenly he's trying to make this actually doable. The taps against Scream, against the tap master. Not going to work out. 11-4 in favor of G2.
Well, Luminosity are going to have a few minutes to think about this because we're on various TV stations. There'll be a very short break before the second half begins. 11-4. We'll see if Luminosity can bring it back. We'll see you back here soon.
Do you play Counter-Strike? Do you want to play with the pros? Do you want to play against this guy?
Going in for his team.
Or this guy? Perhaps even this guy. Okay, maybe not him. Sign up now to Faceit.com and take your game to the next level. Play against the pros only at Faceit.com.
My name is Forrest.
I'm Getright. Freiberg.
You want to beat an old timer like me?
Come try us at Faceit.com.
The home of all the good stuff.
Having the fastest keys in-game will allow me to have an edge against my opponents, and that will allow me to win.
I think the most useful equipment to play at high level is the keyboard, because you have to move around in the game and be very quick with your movement. I prefer cherry keys because it's swift, it's easy to press.
I like using cherry keys because it feels smooth and fast.
I use the K70 keyboard, which is the perfect fit for me. It's the best keyboard ever made.
This is Jason Bourne. We need to talk.
Why would he come back now?
I know what you did. I know everything.
Bourne has to be put down. You didn't come here for revenge.
I volunteered because of a lie.
You're never gonna have any peace until you admit who you really are.
I know who I am. Rated PG-13.
Welcome back. It's time to resume this match. This crowd has been absolutely awesome, and I hope it continues. Look at these crazy calls. This is brilliant. So, can Luminosity get back into this match? They got 4 rounds on their favoured side on their map.
On Overpass. It's
4
Overpass.
rounds.
They're supposed to be the end boss. That's how we set it up, because it's true. But looks like we're going to be getting into this. So make some noise, Wembley!
All right, it's Luminosity's turn to force the issue, but the way G2 are moving forward might be them who are the aggressors here. Shox just wants the engagements here. He wants to shoot people in the face, and he will close the distance if he has to. Look at that, 1 bullet fired, 1 man down. He may get taken down from the back though. What is Shox? Are you serious? You can't do this! No! Taco, the last man standing. Shox looking to ace the entire team. He will be denied. Taco has a great task ahead of him. They've got 4 rounds down.
Well, Shox just got 4 headshots, and Taco, he's got a lot to deal with. This is quite the mountain to climb in this round, let alone on Overpass, where they are down so many rounds here. So, where do you begin in this position when your entire team's been decimated by 1 man?
That is psychological warfare. My pistol has 3 times the headshot range of yours. I'm going to stand and shoot you in the face at point blank. 49 seconds. He has no idea where anyone is. Look at the fear. He needs to collect the bomb. The thing is, he can try and check all these corners very carefully, but he won't have enough time to clear a bomb site, and that's where it counts. So he has to run the gauntlet now. 33 seconds here.
Yeah, if he can find a way to get a bomb plant down at the very least, and that is possible, as, as we can see, there's only one player on the B bomb side. This is actually quite doable for Taco to at least get a fast frag and then a bomb plant. That's best case right now, I think, for Taco. He's going to go in now and see what he can do, but fighting long range is definitely not going to be very effective for him. Looking for the frag against RPK, can't get it done. A prolonged engagement means death, and that's going to be the round for G2.
I see frustration in the Brazilian camp there, and they have 1/3 of the score of G2 now. Shox, this is
Shox is
ridiculous.
A god.
One bullet is all that. One bullet! One! He is enjoying this. He wants some noise from the crowds. And he's getting it. 12-4. Luminosity going for the force buy. G2 again going for 4 SMGs and 1 rifle. This has been a common choice, and it continues here. Lots of nades for G2.
Lots of nades indeed, and not so many for Luminosity, and they're going to try to get into this B-bomb site. Body's been on point so far. He's got the MP9, and the frags rain in here for G2. 2 for them, now 3 as things get worse and worse for the Brazilians. They need a bomb plant, they need something, additional damage at least, but it's not happening. Screams in there, and that's going to be the end of the round. They did get 3 kills at the end of it, so that is going to be somewhat of a result, but they need rounds desperately at the moment. It's 13-4, and G2 won the first map as well.
Brazilians are running out of options very quickly. G2 are 3 rounds away from a 2-0.
Well, Ganko would be right in his prediction, and it was a hard prediction. You could see that it was a very, very tough one for him to make. But it's getting close now for G2. They can feel it, but they must stay focused. They're up against an easy round here. No investment really for Luminosity, and it will be a complete bloodbath as G2 take the fight straight to the Brazilians. Although Fallen has something to say about it, a couple of frags on the outset there to make life a little bit more complicated here for G2, but they're ready to simplify it. 14-4, 2 away now are G2 from taking this grand final.
As we move towards the major, every round is a massive warning shot to everybody else in that tournament. G2 are coming for scalp stand one by one, and first might be Luminosity here in the grand final of ECS Season 1. The AK is coming out for the Brazilians. The margin for error is very, very low. G2 playing the long game. They're 10 rounds ahead. They're not going to buy up completely. Those MP9s will continue. Not much utility here for Luminosity, going for a fast play, taking early map control. This needs to be the half of their lives if they want to stay in this match.
Yeah, the first engagement goes to way out of screen. That is not how you want to kick things off, but Taco with the spray down gets himself a double. And that will change things quite dramatically now as G2 have a disadvantage, but Smith is able to thin out the push towards the A side of the map, and that is really annoying for Luminosity, because that was kind of before they could react to Taco's amazing streak of kills, but it might not matter. Taco is not done just yet. Luminosity now converging towards this B-bomb site, and it's going to be a tough retake here for the G2 side.
Bomb goes down, man disadvantage. Smith's holding the high ground, waiting for somebody to show themselves. But these players should know their angles. You can stand on those stairs, look towards short, look towards the sides. G2 will be forced to close the distance here, as Luminosity are not going to give anything up. And it seems that perhaps a save is coming in, although Luminosity will still fear that smoke. They cannot afford to run too far away from the bomb site here. Luminosity often down, but never, ever out. We saw it at the major multiple times. They can perform under pressure. And they've got a long road to recovery here. 3 players surviving for Luminosity. Diorp, importantly, Diorp is still in play here for G2. And let's not forget, they had at least 2 SMGs going into this round, so they will be able to buy up some of these players on 7K here for G2.
But will G2 be Luminosity's liquid? That is the question. I'm not sure. I mean, it's going to be a very, very long time to find that question out if it's going to end up coming together for them. Now, it's going to be interesting to see, with that save of G2, if they start to get a bit crazy, because they have a lot of rounds to work with, so they can take big risks, because they have really good, awesome weaponry. They've got the round advantage. That is space to play with. But it's a fast map control play here from Luminosity to open things up here into the 20th round, but it's Smith to shut it down.
There's no responsibilities just yet. They really need a frag here, and there it is. Scream gets taken down. One of the headshot machines eliminated here by Luminosity, and that's going to be a very important frag. The round starts to slow down now. Neither team really has control of the short B area. Again, we have G2 being very active, trying to read what Luminosity are doing and trying to put themselves in good positions to stop them. It seems they're happy to go for a bit of a retake here towards B, putting the forces over towards A. 4 AKs roaming the map, looking for someone to engage, and they will soon find one. Smith's on the high ground now. See, Long's been abandoned by both sides. Body coming close. He may have a shadow advantage from that position as well. We'll see if it pays off as time continues. A minute on the clock here. All the Brazilian players over towards site indeed. Shadow comes in, Body with the second frag. Smith stealing the first one away, actually. Body coming over the shoulder peek, baiting them with the flashbang, and he's going to get the kill there. 4 versus 1 now. He knows where the last player is. More shoulder peeking shenanigans coming in. RPK will hold the angle. Fantastic play. G2, match point.
Body, this guy is stepping up. Looks like he is one of the paths to the next evolution of G2. These performances have been absolutely splendid there from Body. Look at this play with these flashbangs. He destroyed Luminosity pretty much by himself in that round, and now G2 on that match point are going to be in an amazing position because it's even better still for them. Luminosity have nothing to buy with. They got 2 Tech 9s, a UMP, a Galil, and an AK-47, and almost no grenades. Is this how it ends, James?
It may well be. More passive start here for Luminosity. You have to wonder if they're a bit on tilt the way some of these rounds have gone. Well, now the margin for error is 0, and the equipment is extremely limited. 2 smoke grenades and 2 flashbangs. That's their inventory with a Galil, an AK, and a UMP. Almost losing a weapon there. That was very close indeed. They've got time on their side, but they don't have much else. G2 playing passive now, playing deep in the sights. 1 player over towards Toilets, but we saw the support that player has in the previous round. It was finished in exquisite style by the likes of Smith's Body and RPK. G2, a very dangerous side. So Brazilians moving over towards the A site. G2 looking for the information now. FNX gets taken down with no responses yet. Smith's close, but doesn't quite get the kill there. And there it is, Falling gets taken down. There's 1 rifle on these 3 remaining players.
It's going to be so hard. This setup is so strong. The defense seems immovable at the moment. Luminosity must break it with just 2 Tech 9s, and they're forced to go in, and they are being slaughtered. It is just Taco now, 19 health with that Tech 9, and there's too much to do and too little to do with 16-5. G2 are your ECS Season 1 champions.
is it to not only win your first championship title with this lineup, but to do so by getting revenge on the team that kept the title from you in London just a month ago?
It's really more than that, because like all players. I know them really well since few years, you know, and we all had like bad times last year with different teams and stuff. So just coming back together and win something like this, yeah, it's just magic.
Now, speaking of magic, when your team started to perform well and everyone saw how Shox, you yourself, and Scream were starting to perform, there were some doubters that said G2 is all about Shox and Scream, but at this event, we saw RPK, we saw Smiths, and we saw Body all step up when they needed to, so what do you have to say to that?
That people don't see everything in the game, and we are a team, and that's why we win today.
All right, and last but not least, I have to give you this opportunity. What do you have to say to all the fans that have been cheering so hard for you here?
What can I say? They know me for my one tap.
There you have it. Your ECS Season 1 champions are G2.
There you have it. We have crowned our first ECS champion, and it is G2 Esports. And not only is it G2 Esports, but it's decisively G2 Esports. They did to Fnatic, and then they did it to Luminosity on Overpass. I mean, that was a one-sided map from the get-go.
I mean, to be honest, G2 were in a class of their own this entire tournament. Aside from the minor hiccup against Liquid in the opener, they've just been by far the best team here. They really didn't look like they broke a sweat in most of these games. Everything just seemed to go their way, and that's how it looks like sometimes when you're playing really well.
Definitely. I feel that, you know, this Overpass game, I was thinking that LG will be able to come back on it, and I think this round from Shox, the second pistol round, perfectly depicts how the whole game went. Pretty much that G2 just came out all guns blazing. I do feel that at times, you know, LG was a bit reckless in their play. We saw the beginning of the game, G2 wins the pistol round, but in the first gun round, Coldzera with a knife out going towards that monster area, G2 with a straight up B-rush just catch him completely off guard and basically get the first gun round for free. They're up 5-0, then, you know, they just outplay Luminosity in the next round. Suddenly you're down 7-0 on CT side of Overpass.
And honestly, to me, it looked like Luminosity was over-rotating a little too much on their CT side. Maybe they respected G2 a little too much based on the previous play. It seemed like a lot of the time, G2 basically waited out and forced a rotation out of Luminosity, and Luminosity didn't read them correctly. I think that was a big part of it.
Even though we saw some sloppy rounds from G2 side as well, they were in a, you know, they were planting the bomb on A, but no one was covering the bomb planter, so they lose a round in a silly way there. I did feel that Luminosity was, you know, pretty disjointed for most of the game. They didn't even take a timeout at any point of the game, and they were really down throughout the game.
Do you think that's any sort of overconfidence just because of how well they did play it earlier today against TSM? Did they go in maybe a little too cocky? Not, you know, obviously they know that G2 and TSM are not the same two teams, but maybe a little extra confidence because they just never got it going.
No, I don't think that's it at all, actually. I mean, they had the very, very super close game a month ago here. I mean, that went to OT on the 5th map. Doesn't get much closer than that, and obviously TSM isn't really comparable in overall usual form to a team like G2 or some of the other teams. So, I mean, I think they gave it everything they got. They just didn't have it today, and that's all there is to it.
And I think, you know, Shox made a really good point with his interview with Smix. You know, they did, as a series of players, have a very difficult year last year with a variety of rosters and finding good fits for all of them. It seems like he's found a good fit in G2 Esports with this crew, yeah?
Definitely, and it's for, you know, for players like Scream and RPK who've been playing alongside Existence for a long time, having struggled to even make it to playoffs of tournament, just make it out of the group stages, and now after their most recent change, bringing in Body and switching Shox to the role of the in-game leader of the team, they not only can get through the group stages, they're also a contender for a tournament, and finally, after a really long time for some of these players, they managed to get an international title under their belt.
And individually, some of these players had incredible showings. I mean, Scream was the top-rated player at the entire event, followed by Shox, followed by RPK. So they actually had three of the top-rated players at the event. Smiths had a bunch of impactful rounds, some of the double scout headshot rounds, and he played better than he normally does. He had a bigger impact than he might normally have, and Buddy had that really big game on Dust too. So it really was a team effort, like Shock said.
And our Jason Bourne MVP of the match is actually Scream this time. Maybe even he should be the MVP of the tournament, the Jason Bourne MVP of the tournament. I just made that up.
I think that would be, I mean, a fair statement to say, because even though he's been playing really well recently alongside Shocks, he has been the leading player, I believe, throughout this tournament. And, you know, a lot of times when we talk about G2, we talk mostly about Shocks and Scream, but they are the driving forces of the team. When people neglect, in a sense, maybe the other players simply because they're not expected to lead the way. They're only needed to do their part. Smith's only, you know, when we talk about Dust too, he gets those kills he's supposed to get towards the long area with the AWP, and that's all he needs to do for the team. Everything else, everything more than that is a bonus from him, right? That's where things really become easy for G2, because there's only a certain amount of kills you can get as a team, and most of the times it's Shocks and Scream leading the way, but the rest of the team is doing their part for sure.
And individually too, I mean, Smiths and Body have both, like we talked about earlier, especially Body has gotten a lot better since he joined. They keep improving, and that also helps the team, because previously if they were to rely so much on skill, as they sometimes do, and a couple of their players weren't performing, now that's a real problem. But when you get all 5 people playing well, it makes it a lot easier to just play the freewheeling style.
Final thoughts on the tournament, gentlemen.
I think it's been really amazing. I think we've had a lot of great games, a lot of upsets, some teams breaking through, specifically TSM showing a lot of potential. And G2, I think that the major is going to be really, really interesting right now, especially considering that Fnatic, G2 and Luminosity are in the same group. So considering that one of those teams is going to be a challenger coming into the following major, that's a really scary thought for other teams out there.
And the crazy thing is FaZe is also in that group, and they're capable of beating any one of those teams in a best-of-1 setting, so and that's going to be incredible. But I think this tournament served as a very good prelude to the major, because now you get a lot of other things to think about going into it, with how certain teams perform here, how they're going to follow up there. From that perspective, I hope G2 don't get at all complacent and just keep working for the final couple weeks and just show up in similar form, because that would be incredible.
And they also show that Overpass is an incredibly strong map for them, something that we maybe couldn't see from their games that they've played up to this tournament. So it adds a lot of depth to their map veto as well coming into the major.
And they already have the nuke advantage compared to most teams. So, I mean, from a map veto perspective, they're really well set up to do well. Now, the one thing that we have at the major is the randomizer, and that always is going to play a little part.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me all weekend. That's going to do it for us. On behalf of everyone in front of the cameras here at the venue, everyone behind the cameras, all the fans, all the players, thank you, all of you folks who tuned in from home, all of you who came into the arena. We will see you for Season 2 soon.